Hey there, welcome back to my channel, and let's get into this important video. This video will discuss DoDMERB and the waiver process. DoDMERB is the Department of Defense Medical Examination Review Board. They are the people that will give you a physical and eye exam to make sure that you're qualified to go to one of the service academies or ROTC. The waiver process is triggered if you do not fully meet the physical requirements of the chosen academy or ROTC, and then you will go into the waiver process. So let me hit on what I talk about a lot in my videos is about getting into the DoDMERB process quickly. To get into the DoDMERB process, you have to have a completed or very near complete service academy application, and that will trigger a DoDMERB physical. The sooner that you get that application done, the sooner that your DoDMERB physical will be triggered and you will be scheduled. Why is that important? It's important because if by chance you may need a waiver, you will be in the queue much sooner than others who are going through the whole process. And I have this little video here that I made. It just shows you, the red ball, going through the process. If you're one of the first in, you go through that funnel quickly. If you wait till later, everybody else gets into that funnel and it clogs that funnel up and you can't move quickly. And that is true for the DoDMERB and the waiver process. So what are the typical medical conditions that trigger a waiver? They are asthma, if you have or had asthma, vision issues, if you need glasses, if your vision is not 20/20, it has to be corrected to 20/20, or if your vision is outside the acceptable range for uncorrected. Orthopedic issues, broken bones, ACL, MCLs, all those sport type injuries, ADHD, if you had ADHD, and allergies, food allergies, air allergies such as pollen, smoke, things such as that. Those are the typical things that trigger a waiver request. Let's just discuss the waiver process. So the academy says, okay, you are now eligible for a DoDMERB physical. DoDMERB sets a physical up, you go for the physical. You have a form that you filled out. It's a very detailed form about your medical history. They will review that. They will review your physical results. And they will say either thumbs up or thumbs down. If it's thumbs down, they will say this person does not meet the medical requirements for that chosen academy or ROTC. And that person would need a waiver to go to that chosen academy or ROTC. So now a waiver request is generated. You can choose to request that waiver, or you can just say, I'm done here, I'm not going to continue. So let's just say you do request a waiver and you want to go on. So now the waiver request goes outside of DoDMERB. It's very important to understand that. The waiver request goes outside of DoDMERB. Your waiver request is still handled through DoDMERB. That's the portal, but they do not handle the waiver request. The waiver request now will go to a waiver authority, and we'll discuss that in 1 second. So the waiver authority for each of the chosen academies and ROTC will go and they will have their request. They might want more information. They might want a letter from a doctor. They might want x-rays. They might want statements. They might want to know what meds you want. There's a ton of things that they might want to know. So who are the waiver authorities? So for West Point, Naval Academy, and Coast Guard Academy, the waiver authority is the superintendent. The superintendent will sign his or her name and say, yes, this person is acceptable to attend my academy with this medical condition. Do they do this in a vacuum? Of course not. They have their own doctors and their own staff that will review case by case each person. And that review will say either up or down for a waiver. If you get thumbs up, now you are in front of the superintendent, and the superintendent is going to say, yes, waiver granted, and you will keep on going through the process. For Air Force Academy, the Air Force Academy has their own medical review board. As many of you know, the Air Force has a lot of doctors. They have hospitals all over the place, just like the Navy does, but the Air Force has a lot. And they will put you with your waiver through their medical review board. And that review board will say yes or no and go back to the superintendent and give you the thumbs up or thumbs down. The Merchant Marine Academy is a little different. Once again, it's the superintendent. He or she will sign you off and say, yes, you can attend the Merchant Marine Academy. But they will go outside to the Civilian Bureau of Medicine, have their doctors, their medical doctors, review your case and give you a thumbs up or thumbs down whether you can attend the Merchant Marine Academy. So why is it important to understand this? Well, number one, it's not DoDMERB that's handling your waiver. I know I said that 3 or 4 times. I want you really to understand that. It's not DoDMERB. It's the individual academies. And the question is, why do things take so long? Well, things take so long because there's a lot of people in the process requesting waivers. And once again, if you get in early in the process, you'll get through that waiver process quickly. Also, there's a lot of medical information that these doctors have to go through to make sure that you're qualified. No doctor wants to say that you're qualified. You go to the academy and you have some serious issue, and God forbid something major happens to you where you die or have a physical ailment or something, that they said, yeah, you're good enough to go, and you really weren't. No doctor wants that. So this is why things take so long. To answer the person's question, how long does it take? It takes as long as it takes. And that's just the answer. It takes as long as it takes. So once again, it's important to get in the process early because it will take as long as it takes, but it will take as long as it takes sooner in the process than later in the process. And you really want to know if you're going to be qualified or not. If you're not qualified, I've discussed this before in other videos, it's just time to move on with your life and go a different path and go do something different. And that's just the way it is. That's just the hand that you were dealt. It's not negative or positive or anything. That's just the way life is. So in conclusion, I discussed the process. It's triggered by a completed application. The medical DoDMERB, the Medical Examination Review Board, will review your physical and your medical forms. If a waiver is requested, it will go to a waiver authority. They will have their own doctors review it. They will say yes or no, and you will go into the regular process for the Service Academy or ROTC as normal. So I hope that this answers your question. I hope it answers questions for others. I'm sure that there's a lot of questions out there in DoDMERB, and yes, DoDMERB is a little bit of a behind the mirror, smoky kind of thing, but it really isn't. There is a website that DoDMERB has, and I will put a link to it below, that has millions of frequently asked questions and has the whole process all lined out, and you should be able to go through that and find out whatever you need in that process. And I'm sure that there is something there that will apply to you as you go through the process. So, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for your dedication to this country and your willingness to serve. Bye now.